Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 180 Briefs. So glad you can join us. Hope you had an amazing week. So the morning service, as of next week, is going to be doing a soft reopen. So what that means is you have to RSVP because they need to restrict it to 100 people. And to make sure that we have everybody spread out and we do the proper procedures. And so you need to RSVP. I'm going to put a link below so that you can RSVP if you would like to be one of the 100 people that will be joining next weekend for morning service. So let us know if you are interested. And so what that's going to be is 100 people are going to come to the church. They're going to file in, do all the procedures, masks, doing the temperature checks and go to certain seating and all that. And it's going to be pre-recorded. So right now, as they're trying to test everything, today's the last test day per se. Today you could have gone and joined 50 people to watch another, the Illinois Conference was having a thing today. But you can join next week, 100 people, and it's basically a watch party. And for those of you that have no idea what a watch party is, basically you're going there, being able to see fellow Christians, and you're going to watch everything up on the screen. So there won't be any live people up front. It'll just be watching the screens. Most likely, Pastor Jason will do a little MC, so he'll physically be there. So if you'd like to do that, join us. And down below, I'll have a link so that you can RSVP for that. Now, during all this, the biggest question I'm being asked is, what about 180? When is the 180 worship service that's normally done at 5 o'clock on a Saturday night? When is that going to start up again? Well, you tell me. I'm ready. I'm more than happy to not do this from my home anymore and start doing this from the chapel at the church. For those of you who don't know, if you're outside of our normal circle, 180 church service is a relatively contemporary worship service that meets at Hinsdale SDA Church. And we meet at 5 o'clock. So if you would like to be part of that, let us know down in the comments. You can reach out to me. You can use the email 180hsdac@gmail.com. Let me know if you're ready. I would like to really get going back into service. Everybody's been asking me. I've been having people from 180 asking me. The pastoral staff is like, so what's going on with you guys? So let me know. I would really like to get moving on that. Another thing coming up, it actually starts tomorrow, but we are doing, as a church, Hinsdale Church, for those of you who don't know, we have a school. It's not in the same building, it's a separate building, and it's part of a constituency, so there's like 5 or 6, maybe more, I always lose count, churches that support the school. And based on numbers and all that, each church commits so much money to the school. And our church, we have epic fail. For the last couple of years, we have not been able to hold to our commitment. And because of that, it affects the school greatly financially for their budgets and whatnot. That partially is part of the reasons why, we had to make some drastic changes at the school, condense stuff, cut salaries, etc., etc. You get it. So the debt that the church owes the school, and this is just Hinsdale Church that owes the school, is over $250,000 for the last couple of years of just not paying it. And main reason being is church has got a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. I am now on staff at the church, and one of my jobs is being building manager, and I can tell you there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. We just don't have the money for it. But one of the big things that we've dropped is paying our commitment to the school. So with that, I am organizing a prayer vigil. It starts tomorrow. We're asking everybody in the church. This has nothing to do with whether you have students there or whatever. This is our commitment to the school. And so I'm asking people to join us in prayer. And it will be all week. Hopefully you pray longer than that. But we're looking for people to commit. There's another link that's going to be down below. It goes to Sign Up Genius or one of those type programs. And you go on there and you commit saying that you're going to pray. You're going to just do prayer. And I mean, I'm not asking for money, but if for some, you know someone or you know how we can get money to help the school or the church to pay our debt to the school, that's awesome. But I'm specifically looking for prayer. A few minutes a day. Hey, if you can pray an hour long, that would be awesome. Or if you want to break it up throughout the day. But we're looking for a commitment for every day this week. That you will find some time, whether it's your ride to work, it's in the shower, I don't care. Just pray specifically for our debt to the school. And on next Sunday, not this Sunday, but October 4th, we are going to meet at the church at 4 o'clock. And yes, we're going to do the whole practicing the proper distance between people, have the masks and all that. But we're going to meet at the church at 4 o'clock. And we're going to pray together. And then from the church, we are going to walk to the school. And the whole time, still social distancing, we're going to reflect and try to think, how can I help? Who do I know that maybe is looking for a tax write-off or whatever? How we can get the money that our church owes the school. So it's a hard one. I mean, asking people to come up with money at times like these where people are getting laid off and hours being reduced and all that. It's a hard thing to do. But right now we're not asking people, we're asking God. And he can tear up part of the street of gold up in heaven and be like, here you go, I got you covered. But no, there's been several times in my life where I have seen just that happen. For those of you who don't know, I had a family business of 30 years. My family owned the office supply company. And towards the end, we were hurting majorly financially. We did a lot of school bids. We did a lot of Cook County government. And if you know anything about either one of those two institutions, you know they don't pay their bills. And when they do, it's on their terms, not yours. But unfortunately, you have to pay your employees, you have to pay your vendors, and the vendors don't care that, well, some of them did actually. I had some really good vendors that are like, as soon as they heard that Cook County was one of my big customers, they're like, enough said, we're going to work it this way, and we're going to figure out how we can give you guys more time. So I was very blessed with that. But there was times where, and some of you heard this story, where I lived about a half hour from work, so my half hour to work was listening to a Christian station and praying the entire way. And one of the times I was praying was, God, I need $45,000. $45,000 is going to cover payroll, and it's going to cover my biggest vendor that I owe money to that I need to keep. This will give me more time if I could just get them this money. And I'm praying, and one of the main reasons I'm praying that I'm concerned is everybody's current. All my customers are current. They're not owing any major dollar amounts. Nobody's overdue, so I'm not expecting any money coming in anytime soon. So I get to work, And I go into my accounting office, and the woman's name is Thirstine. She was our bookkeeper. And I told her, the whole way here, I've been praying for $45,000. And she's looking at me because she's already opened the mail. She's already seen the checks and the invoices and the bills and all that stuff. She's already seen that because she gets in, accounting gets in there typically about an hour, half hour to hour before everybody else. And so I get there and I tell her this whole story and how I'm praying about it. And she's just shaking her head. And I'm like, so how'd we do? And she's kind of like smiling at me like, $3,000. That's all we got today. And yesterday wasn't that good. And I'm not really expecting tomorrow to be any better. And so I'm like, well, I guess God's answer today was no. And as soon as they say that, I hear the front door open, and my purchasing manager, he goes, and it's FedEx, and he greets FedEx, and he comes straight to her office, and he's got an envelope from FedEx. He opens it. He goes, oh, Steve, here's a rebate check from our buying group. It's for $45,000. And I start laughing, kind of awkward, mainly because I'm trying to fight crying. Because I'm like in shock and thanking God. And Thirstine, she's like, her jaw's like to the ground. And she's looking at me, and she's looking at him, and she's looking at me. And he's like, what is with you guys? And he leaves the room and he walks away. And she's like, Steve, you have to pray for me. So that was one time. And there's been many other stories. And the last one I'm going to share with you is the same scenario. Except for I'm in worse trouble. The reason I'm in worse trouble is doing my drive, praying to God, and this time I'm like, I'm not really begging for money because there is no money. What I mean by that is not only are the customers not current or past due, no one literally owes me money. I mean, you're talking like peanuts. Nothing that's going to pay any major bills or whatnot. So on my way, I'm practically in tears, praying to God. And I'm telling him, God, what I'm asking isn't fair to ask you. I am asking for something that doesn't exist. So I need you to help me out in another way. Find me what to say to my vendors, what I can do that can get us money that I can pay some of this. Buy me more time is what I'm asking for. Bank's not going to give us any more loans. My dad's phasing out, so he's not going to sell some stock and use that money to pay off debts or whatever. So I'm just praying this, and I'm like, God, there's nothing you can do. I mean, it's not there. And it's not fair to ask you to magically make this appear or whatever. So 3/4 of the way to the office, I get a call from my purchasing manager, John. And he says, Steve, there was some paperwork that we got a while back that it was about a lawsuit. And a lot of dealers were taking 3M to court and suing them because they felt that the manufacturer 3M wasn't doing fair bidding. Like they weren't giving this office supply company the same prices as another one, and it wasn't fair, and so there was a lawsuit. He's like, Steve, what'd you do with the paperwork? I'm like, well, if you go in my office, it's up on the cork board. I got it there. I thought it was a kind of a stupid battle, court battle, but so I didn't do anything. He goes, so you didn't do anything as far as whether you want to opt in or not to the lawsuit? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I didn't really even read it. Kind of, I didn't have time to research it. So I just put it up on the cork board. He goes, Steve, you did the right thing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He goes, you got a payout from the court. You got $33,000 for this for this court, his lawsuit. That's the word I was looking for. And so I'm like in tears, and he hears my voice cracking, and he's like, okay, I'll see you when you get in. And I hang up the phone, and I'm like laughing, and I'm sobbing. I've got the tears everywhere, and I'm crying. And the visual that I immediately had in my head was picturing myself in our conference room, and at the head of the table was Jesus, kind of looking down as I'm pouring my heart out and telling him that there's nothing you can do. I'm telling the Creator that he can't do something. And I just kind of pictured him looking down, like holding a cup of water and just playing with it, listening to me, and kind of doing a smirk. And when I was done, I pictured him saying, and I mean, this visual in my head was like instant and was exactly how I'm describing it. I pictured him looking up from the cup of water and looked at me and smiled and says, "Can I be God now?" And just had this visual, and I just crying and trying not to crash my car as I'm flying into work, and just was amazed that the times that I prayed some Gideon prayers where I gave details and God answered it. And there's been so many of those. No, don't get me wrong. It's not like God didn't ever say no, because those of you who know me, and you as well, we had some very big no's in our life. Like our buddy Nick. When he got sick, we were all praying like crazy, and the answer was no. God didn't heal him. I know I'm going to see him again, so I have that comfort and all that, but the answer was no. So there's been no's in life, and I'm not saying it's like God is Santa and we just pray and get this, but I know that through these answers to prayer that I have seen God. I've seen him like walk by, overheard me saying something, stopped, and it's like, "I hear you," and he took care of it. And I know with the school, it's going to be the same thing. And one of the big reasons that I want you to get involved in this week of prayer, and please, I'm begging you to take it seriously, spend the whole week praying. And I would love to see you next Sunday on October 4th at 4 o'clock at Hinsdale Church, and pray with us as a group. Because regardless of how he answers it, he's going to answer it. And I would love for you to witness it. So years from now, when we're looking back and we say, remember when God showed up and did this for us to help the school? And that was amazing. I'm looking forward to that. And for those of you who are prayer warriors, I know you're looking forward to that as well, because it's going to be awesome. So to recap, I'm going to have 2 links down below. One for the prayer walk, and one if you'd like to sign up on for October 3rd to join us for church service. So look for that. Our guest speaker tonight, he's got a nice short sermon. It's more of a gem thought. I told him to do a gem thought based on something that he posted on Facebook. I'm like, I want you to share that. And so he shares this, and it's a pretty cool story. So we got our buddy Mark. He's going to tell us about fishing. And it's good to see you guys, or be with you guys anyway. I can't see you. But I know what all of you look like, so I just picture you in my head. I love you guys. Hope to see you soon.
Hello everyone. I hope you had an opportunity to relax and enjoy last Labor Day weekend. For me, it was a chance to use some whole person care for myself. I went to northern Michigan with a couple of friends, and we went for salmon fishing. We went to Manistee River, where salmon returns from Lake Michigan by traveling upstream to lay eggs. There's a sweet spot to catch good fish called a tippy dam. As you can imagine, quite a few fishermen want to fish there. And on Labor Day weekend was not a perfect timing. When we got there, there was with us 86 fishermen. 86. Just imagine, I mean, people from different places traveled there, and we're standing 8 feet apart from each other in cold water, waist deep cold water, and casting our fishing rods precisely to 1 o'clock, and you have to pull it out by 10 o'clock just to make sure that the lines don't tangle. You have to start from the person who is on the lowest end of the river because the stream is going this way. And so everyone must work together. Make sure that the lines don't cross, don't tangle. When a fisherman feels that he caught, the fish caught the fly, he would scream, "Fish on!" Everyone works fast to get their lines out, so the fish doesn't tangle all of them. 86 different personalities, different style of cussing and swearing, working together to catch good fish. As I was enjoying this experience, I really did enjoy it. I realized that one goal, one mission can make different people who don't necessarily know each other work together in one accord. So I think that's applicable to our everyday lives. If we are connected with one mission, one purpose, it don't matter nationality, creed, language, we can get a lot of things done. So my encouragement to you is to wait for that fish, and as soon as you hear it, you can scream, "Fish on!" Have a good one.